Alright, so welcome back to some more MX versus ATV All Out. Now, a lot of people were asking to see just whips. They want to see more whips, so about half the video is going to be whips, just trying to throw different styles, different looks of whips, and even try throwing a couple oppos in there like that one. It wasn't that, I was just playing around with the idea. They get better, so make sure to check out about halfway through the video at the very end of the whip segment here. We do a few kind of cool looking oppos. The hard thing about that was that the rotation, the way the game plays, the rotation of it, not so much throwing it, but trying to bring it back is a lot slower. So it's just a little more awkward to try and hit those. And I wanted to get the front wheel a little bit higher, but it just didn't work out for me that way. I'm not very good at it, and it just didn't really work out. Now there are a couple here specifically, maybe we went past them, that I really enjoyed. That whip right there, that was probably one of my favorite ones. Maybe my favorite one besides the oppo we throw at the end. But that whip was so cool because we actually weren't upside down. Like some of these, that one was kind of the same way. You know, some of them are upside down, some of them are more classic. Just tried to throw as many different kinds as I could and do the best I could. It's not perfect. I'm sure there's guys out there already that have it mastered and are throwing crazy whips and whatnot. But I know you guys wanted to see it. And then the other half of the video is going to be like huge transfers and just huge, not really huge lines, because they're not lines that you can hit off the track in the race. They're lines that just jumps, huge jumps on the supercross tracks. And I just free rode the supercross tracks, and not all of the, well, we can talk about that when we get there. Should be coming up here pretty soon. Let's finish up this little segment, kind of switch over to the slot cam a little bit, give you a few different looks, different angles. I should have done a first person one. I know I didn't, but it just kind of crossed my mind as I'm talking over the video now. But a short little video, a bunch of little clips. I bet I recorded over 2 hours. I bet it was over 2 hours of footage, and we cut it down into like 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And when I do that, I'm kind of aware of what I want. Like, I know the parts that I'm probably just gonna get rid of, but oh, here's the oppos. It's so cool. It's so awesome. It's a lot slower. It's kind of hard to whip in that direction quickly, but it's so much fun. I think the last one's my favorite one. So if you haven't tried, you should try throwing one of these bad boys. But the rotation's a lot slower, but it looks cool. It looks so sick. It's really satisfying in the game to do that. Even if it doesn't look perfect, it's cool that you can do it and make it look that decent. That one was a little bit better. That was probably my favorite one. Probably my favorite whip out of all the clips. And then we switch over to the huge transfers and big jumps. I hope I didn't title it big lines, because it probably should just be big jumps. This is the first one. Now, what I was trying to say earlier is not all the tracks worked. And the reason not all the tracks worked, and you'll kind of understand why, is because some of the tracks, the track actually ran up to the stands in the stadium, so you didn't have all that open space to gain all that speed. And I know I had the HUD off and everything, but you had to be going really fast. This line, I'm gonna say line, but you know what I mean. That jump was really hard to get. There was 3 or 4 of these jumps that I bet I was on the track for 15-20 minutes before getting it, or I'd get it, but it didn't. I wasn't totally satisfied with it. Some of them, like this one, was a lot easier, but it just worked out really nice. And then I did it one time and crashed right after I landed and wasn't satisfied with it, so I had to go back in and get it again, I guess. But yeah, it has to be the tracks where it's open. Like, for instance, Las Vegas, that track doesn't really work because there's none of that big opening. It runs all the way up to the side of the stadium walls, basically. So Las Vegas, Salt Lake, maybe even Detroit. I don't remember which ones it was, but there was a handful of them that basically did not work. So it's not practical. It's just something fun. And, you know, okay, I'll speak for myself. I buy these games to have fun, whether it's a sim or a non-sim or an in-between. I buy them to have fun. So no matter what type of game it is, it's fun for me. I know not everyone's going to agree with that, and that's fine. I'm not trying to push my opinion on you hard. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's what I think, okay? That's what I feel. And if you have been. You leave your comments about how you feel. If you disagree with me, great. But I'm just saying, I buy these games for fun, and this was fun. The whip part was probably the most fun, but hitting these huge lines, and I know the game can be floaty, a little floaty. But when you're trying to hit these huge obnoxious jumps, being floaty isn't necessarily the bad thing. But I mean, I don't buy the game to hit these huge lines. I buy the game to run laps on the track. It's just something that it's cool that they allow you to be able to free ride the supercross tracks like they did with Supercross Encore, so you can do this, because if you couldn't free ride it, it would basically not be possible. But that's gonna wrap it up. We're about to the end of the video. You guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.